Hello everyone, welcome back to day 6 of our complete Linux series, and today we are continuing our journey into Linux scripting and automation. So in today's session we will focus on scripting fundamentals and practical automation tasks that are essential for DevOps engineers. By the end of this session you will have the tools to streamline your workflows and automate system management like a pro. So let's get started. So to start with scripting and automation. So scripting and automation is required when you are working in DevOps, because without automation you can't efficiently work as a DevOps engineer. And in order to work as a DevOps engineer, you should have a practical hands-on knowledge uh, working on automation tasks. And in order to perform automation, we have various tools that are available. And one of those automation tool is shell scripting. So in today's session, we are going to cover shell scripting using bash script. And a script is nothing but a file that contains a series of commands that the shell executes. And shell script are powerful because they allow you to automate repetitive tasks. So on a day-to-day basis, you will get a lot of requirements from the clients, from the managers, and to perform those requirements, to fulfill those requirements, you cannot perform manual like tasks, you cannot run manual commands, so you need to know how to automate those tasks. So for that purpose we need to write scripts. So the first part of this particular session is shell scripting basics, followed by text processing tools. So in shell scripting basics, we will cover basic commands that are required to learn shell scripting. Then we'll follow with variables, conditionals that are used in shell scripting. Then we'll go through loops and functions. So let's start with basic commands used in shell scripting. So in previous session we have enabled firewall, and because of that I was unable to log into my VM. So I have disabled the firewall and I am currently able to log into this particular VM. Let me switch to root user and let's start with shell scripting basics. So to start with shell scripting, we need to know some basic commands that are used in shell scripting, and the commands are echo. So if you want to print something on the console, you can use echo command. So let's suppose I want to print hello world, so this will print hello world. So whatever you want to print on console, that can be done using echo command. Next command is exit command. If you want to exit from a shell script, then in that case you can run this command. So in Linux we have various exit codes that are being used to represent whether your commands are successful, whether your commands runs successfully or not. So let's suppose if I run echo hello world, and if this command runs successfully, it will print the hello world. And I can check the exit code for this particular command using echo dollar question mark. So exit code is 0 for this particular command. But in if I, let's suppose if I run a command cat file, so the file, so let's suppose if I so let's suppose if I'm trying to cat a file which does not exist, let's suppose file demo file, demo report. So if I'm trying to cat a file, cat is used to display the content of file. And if I'm trying to cat this particular file which does not exist, then it will show me the error that demo report no such file or directory. And the exit code for this command would be uh, non-zero code. So let's see what is the exit code for this particular command. So exit code is 1. So whenever you get any errors, the exit code will be non-zero number. And when you our commands are run successful, when your command runs successful, in that case your exit code will be 0. So this is about like exit code. And if you want to exit from particular script, or if you want to exit from any particular function, in that case you can use exit command. Next command in the list is date command. So if you want to get, or if you want to print the current date of this particular system, or if you want to print the current date of your server, the date command is used. You can use various flags which are available in date command. So there are various flags that are available in the date command, and you can check that using help section. So let me use some flag right here. So let's try to print a full date using this format. So the command would look like date plus followed by the pattern that we have copied, and here is the date that is being formatted in this way: year followed by month followed by date. So this way you can format the dates and you can use the dates in your script. Next command in the list is pwd. So pwd is used to print the current working directory, and here we have covered like some basic commands that are used in shell scripting. Next thing is variables. So variables are basically used to store data, and let's suppose you want to store some values while preparing your script, so you can do that using variable. So let's suppose variable name is myvar. So and you can assign this myvar a value, or you can assign this myvar some string. So let's suppose automation script, and if you want to access this variable, you can do that using dollar followed by the variable name. So this way you can access the value of this variable, and to print this value on console we will use echo command. So here you can see we have successfully accessed this variable that we have defined right here. So similar way you will define the variables in your shell script. Here we have initialized two variables, num1 and num2, and in order to perform arithmetic operations you need to use double parenthesis. To perform arithmetic operations you need to use this parenthesis. So if you want to perform arithmetic operations you need to use double parenthesis, and you need to put your expression in this parenthesis. So let's suppose if I want to add two numbers, here I will define two numbers. So number 1 is equal to 99, number 2 is equal to 33, and if I want to add these two numbers, the expression would look something like this: echo followed by double parenthesis, and we need to provide the number 1 and number 2, and this whole bracket will get a dollar. And let's try to print the summation of this number 1 and number 2, and number 1 and number 2. Oh, okay, so I forgot to add dollar right here for number 2. Okay, so here you can see we have added two numbers, number 1 and number 2, and this way you can perform the arithmetic operations on numbers using variables. So this way you can define the variables, initialize the variables, and access the variables inside shell script. So this is all about variables. Next thing is conditionals. In conditionals we have three statements that we generally use: if else and elif. So if you have single condition, in that case you can go with if statement. One condition. If you have two conditions, in that case you can go with if else statement. More than one condition. And if you have multiple conditions, in that case you can go with if elif statement. Multiple conditions basically. The syntax to write if block is, so let me create some sample file. So sample script right here. Every bash script is ended with .sh extension, and it starts with shebang, where you need to provide the shell that through which you want to execute your script. So currently I'm using bin bash, and for bash script this is the shell that is generally being used. You can also use bin sh or anything as per your requirement. So if you're working on Mac OS, you can go with ZSH. So I'm going with standard shell, that is bin bash. And if I want to execute a simple conditional, that is if statement, so let me define one variable right here, that is 10, and I'll check if num1, if the value of $num1 is greater than 0, then print then print number number is positive, and if blocks ends with fi. So let's now we have created a script, sample script. Now in order to execute this script, we need to provide permissions. So chmod plus x and the name of script, and here you can see all the users have got execute permission, so anybody can run this particular sample script. So let me run this script, and here you can see the number is positive. Now this is the only condition. Now I've got a requirement to add one more condition, and if the number is negative, I need to print that as well. So for that purpose, what I will do is I'll edit the script and I'll add the else statement as well. So just add else after the echo statement, and I want to print here number is negative. And this time I want to take input from user. So let me take user input in this particular case, and I will pass the input, and that input will be stored inside $1. So this way you can accept the parameters from the user, and you can process these parameters, and you can process the user inputs in the particular script, and these are also called as positional parameters. So in this particular example, you will take user input while executing the script. So let me run sample.sh, and this time I will pass the parameters or input. So I will pass, let's suppose, -1. So number is still saying positive because number is greater than 0. Tick. Okay, let me print the number as well. Number one. Okay, so let's rerun the file. Number is positive. Number is positive. In order to perform arithmetic operations, you need to use double parenthesis. So I have replaced the script with double parenthesis, and this time it's working as expected. So let me run the script. Sample.sh followed by -1, number is negative, +1, number is positive. Let's try with 0, number is negative. So let me add one more thing right here. So greater than or equal to. So let's rerun the command. Number 0 is positive, 1 is positive, -1 is negative, -10 is negative, -100 is negative. So this way you can define the conditionals. Now let's suppose I want to define multiple conditions. So in that case, what you can do is you can add elif statement right here, and let me give one more thing. So so this is first condition. The second condition is this one. So if number greater than equal to 0, number is positive, number is less than 0, number is negative, else number is 0, else number is else number is 0. And let me quickly remove this equal to as well, and then we have also defined elif statement in this particular example, and here you can see we have defined two conditions, and in else statement we will print the number is 0. So if number is greater than 0, it will print positive. If number is less than 0, it will print negative. If this both condition doesn't satisfy, the number is 0. So let's save the script and rerun the script. Number is negative, number is positive, and number is 0. So here with this particular example, we have covered conditionals in shell scripting. The next thing in the shell scripting basics is loops. So loops are used to execute a block of code repeatedly, and bash basically supports three types of loops. First one is for loop, second is while loop, and third one is until loop. So let me create a script for loops, and the script is loops.sh. Let me add bang. So Let's see what is the syntax for loop. So for followed by variable in list do commands and done. So this will end with done statement. Next one is while loop. So while followed by condition. So while loop is based on condition and it repeats as long as condition is true. Followed by do. Okay, let me take this to as okay. Then this will also run few commands and which also ends with done statement. And next one is until loop, and until loop has a similar syntax like while. So until followed by condition, then loop followed by commands done, and this will run until condition is true. Condition is true, then while will run as long as condition is true, as long as condition is true, and for loop will iterate over list of items or range. And most widely we use for loop to automate any task or so let's see the practical examples for loop, while loop and until loop. So let me start with shebang bin bash. So I'll print 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 numbers, and to do that the syntax is for I in, and if I want to provide a list of number, then I can do that using curly braces. So I need to provide the first number followed by double dots, and I need to provide the last number. Once done, do do echo $i, done. So this will print numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, let me add some message right here. So number, okay, let me assign execute permissions to loops, and here you can see it has printed number 1 to number 10. If you want to create list of users, or if you want to perform certain actions, repetitive actions like creation of 1,000 users or creation of 1,000 files, so you can do that using for loop. So this way you can use the for loop. Next one is while loop. Let's create an example for while loop now. So let me edit a file. Okay, let's add the shebang followed by a count. So let's add the count 1, and we'll follow the same example. We will try to print the 1 to 10 numbers using while loop. So while $count do echo $count, and let's increase the value of $count by 1, and it should end with done. Okay, so let's try to rerun the script having while loop example. So it's failing. Operand expanded. Okay, so okay, dollar, okay, so count is equal to $count $count plus 1, and this way it has printed. There was some issue while performing that operation, so we have performing that increment operation, so we have just simplified it using plus 1, and it's working fine now. So we have successfully printed 1 to 10 numbers using while loop. The next one is until loop, and let's try the same example. So count is equal to 1, count greater than 10, print count, and count is equal to count plus 1. So let's print. Okay, we need to change the while to until. So let's change the while to until, and this will perform the same operation, but in until we have to define condition differently. Okay, count is equal to 1, count is greater than, okay, echo count, count equal to count plus 1, count is greater than 10 until count becomes greater than 10. This will run. So the until operation is successfully done, and this way we have covered loops section of this shell scripting basics. Next thing is functions. Suppose if you have repetitive code that is being used in multiple scripts, so what you can do is you can simply create one script, and in that script you can define the function which is repetitive across various script, and you can use that script and you can use that function across various scripts that are using that repetitive code. So that way you can reduce the code complexity, and uh, repetitive code can be avoided in this particular case. Let's try to create some sample functions. So we have functions.sh bin bash. So let me create some functions. So you can simply define function, and so let's suppose if you want to create a function named hello world, so you can simply do that, and you can just print hello world right here, echo hello from Sanket Pandari, and you can just call this function, and let's try to run the script. Chmod plus x functions. So there's something wrong with this particular script. Okay, so the parentheses are missing right here. So let's save the file, and here you can see the script is working as expected. So the function is working as expected. If you want to pass the parameters for this function, then you can do that like similar way how we can pass the parameters to the script. Same way you have to pass the parameters to this particular function. So hello world, and I'll want to pass the parameter like Linux course, and here I will replace the name with this particular positional parameter. So let's run the file, and here you will see hello from Linux course. Hello from Linux course. So this way you can pass the parameters as well to the functions. Let's suppose you want to add two numbers using function. So what you can do is you can do that. You can simply define a function add number, and here you can define the expression that you want to perform. So local sum is equal to dollar followed by plus $1 plus $2, and let's print that sum, echo $sum, and I will store the result in one variable, and I'll call this particular function right here, and I'll pass the parameter like let's suppose 10 20, and I want to print the result right here. So echo sum of two numbers is dollar result. So let's see with what it prints. So here you can see it has printed the summation for 10 and 20 as 30. and this way you can pass the parameters. So with this we have covered all the shell scripting basics, and with these basics you can create as many scripts as you want. Next thing in this particular session is text processing tools. So text processing tools are used in order to perform various text related operations, and we have various commands that are used to perform the text processing. So to start with, we have first command is grep. So grep is used to search patterns in the file or input. So let's suppose I have okay. So here I have various files. So here I want to check whether so in functions file I want to check whether the number pattern is available or not. So here you can see there are three lines which has the number pattern in this particular file. So this way you can grab the pattern out of any file. Next thing is SED. SED is used to perform basic text transformation, and SED stands for stream editor. uh, if I want to replace this number with something else, so I can do that using SED. So SED followed by search text. So number is the text that I want to search. Replace it with numeric g in file functions.sh. So here you can see number is being replaced with numeric, and in order to update this file you need to provide some flags. So sed-i will update this file and it will replace the number with numeric string. So let's do that. And if I cat the functions.sh file, here you can see number has been replaced with numeric. So similar way you can add, remove text using sed command. There are various things you can do with sed, and we will provide the different things that can be done using sed in the notes that you can follow for your practice purpose. The next thing is awk command. So awk command is used for pattern scanning and processing. In order to see the practical example of awk, we will use ps-ef command output. So ps-ef head, here you can see various columns have been printed, and if I want to pick a third column, or if I want to pick the fifth column, what I can do is I will use awk followed by print, and I will use $5. So this will print the fifth column in this particular output. So you can see the fifth column has been printed for me, that is yes time. So let's suppose if you want to print username from etc passw file, so you can do that using awk command, and the command would look something like this. So awk followed by -m, and delimiter is colon, and we want to print the first column, that is usernames, and the file path is etc passwd, and this way it has printed the list of users available in your particular operating system. You can further process these users for various things. So this way you can filter out particular columns or particular patterns from the file. So this is all about awk command. Next one is cut command. So to extract section from each line of file, we use cut command. So to extract specific fields or columns, we use cut command. So cut followed by -d, and here we will use colon followed by -f1 slash etc slash passwd. The same thing what awk has done can be done using cut command. We have extracted fields based on this delimiter. Next command is sort command. So in order to sort lines of text, sort command can be used. So let's add one file, sort demo.txt. Save. Now cat sort demo. So here you can see the sorted output. Let me just first print the file. Now if I apply sort command, here you can see the lines in this particular file have been sorted based on character case. So A, B, double C, A, B, C, D. Then in D, O, it has followed based on next character in this particular pattern. So do followed by E, do followed by K, E, S, K, M, S. So this way you can also perform the sort operation on a particular file. So let me add a duplicates to this particular file. Why? So I have added duplicates right here in this particular file, and here you can see various lines have been consumed by duplicates. So if, in order to remove the duplicates, you have to use -u flag, and this will only show the unique entries available in the list or available in the file. So that is all about sort command. Next command is unique command, and let's print the output through unique command. So unique will print the unique things and sort. So in order to pick only unique entries, you can use unique command. And sort also has -u flag, which only picks unique entries. So this way you can perform text processing with these commands. And here we have finished scripting and automation fundamentals. The next session is the example, real-time example, and here we are going to see two practical scenarios of automation in Linux. First task is to automate health checks for a web server, and the requirements are: check system resources, send an email alert if any resource usage exceeds a predefined threshold. So in order to check system resources, CPU, memory, disk, and network status, the commands are as given below. So in order to check CPU, the command is -u to 5. So systat is the package we need to install. So let's create a health check script. I have already prepared a script, and let me just explain the logic that we have used in this particular script. So it starts with so first thing, we have defined this variable, and in variables we have defined the thresholds. So whenever utilization for CPU, memory, and disk goes beyond 90%, it will generate the alert and it will send the alert on email. The next thing is we have used a top command in order to get the current usage of CPU, and we have used various text processing tools in order to filter out the required text or required CPU usage for our calculation purpose. Then we have used conditionals to check whether the current usage is greater than CPU threshold. If yes, we have sent an email to admin.example team. So here what we will do is we'll echo this output to /tmp/health check report. So here we are redirecting the alerts to this particular file. So here we have just defined the variables, and in variables we have defined the thresholds. So if the usage of CPU memory disk goes beyond 90%, it will generate the alert, and it will store the alert in this particular file, that is health check report. So let's save this config script. Let me add execute permission. So chmod +x health check, and let's run this health check. Okay, so let's see if there's any report generated. So currently I don't think there's any issue with resources, so nothing has been printed currently. So this way you can create a script and which can be used to perform the health checks on your server. Here we are not sending any email alert because we don't have email like mail service configured on this particular VM, so it won't generate any email alert. Second example is automating server backup and cleanup. So the second example is to perform a backup of this directory, that is var www. So where www is a directory where your website will get stored or website files will get stored. They have asked to compress the backup and store it with timestamp and remove the backups older than 7 days to free up disk space. So I have copied a script from the notes. Let's create a backup script .sh. Okay, let's save the file. Let's add the execute permission, and let me explain the logic that we have defined in this particular file. The requirement is to create a backup of directory where www. So we have defined the variables. The source directory is where www. We have created a backup directory that is slash backup, and inside slash backup we will store the backups of this particular directory. And here we have created a timestamp variable gets appended with every backup file for reference purpose, and we have formatted this timestamp with this particular format string. Next variable is backup file, and we have prepared a variable to create a proper backup file. Next thing is compress the backup and store it with timestamp. So we have created a timestamp format right here. We have prepared a backup file format. We have defined variables for source directory and backup directory. Next thing is to create a backup. So to create a backup, we have to perform compression, and to perform the compression, we use tar command in Linux. Here we are printing the message stating that starting backup of source directory, that is where www, followed by tar command, which creates a compressed file using this source directory, and it will get stored in this backup file, and the backup file format is given right here. And here we are printing the message along with the path where the backup file has been created. Next thing they have asked is to remove the backups which are older than 7 days. So here we are printing the message, and we are using find command to check the files which are older than 7 days. So in find command, it has given where to find the files. So here we have given backup directory. So it will check, it will find the files inside slash backup. It will check for files having naming convention ending with tar.gz. So our backup file is also ending with tar.gz, and yum time is given as +7. So +7 means files older than 7 days, followed by exec rm command, and this curly braces will take the output of find, and this will remove the files which are older than 7 days. This particular script will take the backup, and here you need to schedule the cron. So cron tab -e. Okay, so here cron tab is used to schedule the script. So let's suppose if you want to schedule this script on a daily basis at certain time, so you can do that using cron tab, and cron tab -e. You can schedule a script with this format. So here you can see they have given one example. You can run a backup of all user accounts at 5 a.m. So this way you can schedule the backup using cron, and you can explore what is cron tab by yourself, but we have tried to cover all the major concepts related to shell scripting in this particular session. So that's it for today's session. We have covered scripting fundamentals and practical automation examples that will help you improve your Linux based workflows. Keep practicing and you will soon be automating like a DevOps expert. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching and see you in the next session.